I'm going to make some salmon. Fresh salmon pieces, about 2 ounces each. This is for 2 portions. I'm going to use red onion, Dijon mustard, a regular flour, eggs, and breadcrumb. In the breadcrumb mix, we put the fresh parsley and the red onions. I put plenty of red onions in there because you know that some of it is going to be left over, so we want to make sure that we have enough red onions for the mix. Mix this up well, and into the egg mixture, I could brush the Dijon onto the fish, but you know what? That's like more work, a little bit messy with the fingers. We're going to keep the fingers free. So if you put the Dijon into the egg, then you're assured, well, you're assured either way, but this is simpler. So we're going to whip that up. Then we have the flour. So we're going to go from the flour to the eggs to the breadcrumbs. And we're going to saute this in. It's up to the individual what they want. I find the best way to saute is to mix olive oil with butter. It doesn't burn as quickly, but you could use straight butter, but the chances of burning are there. But you know what? Even the burning tastes good. And before I even start with the, I'm going to take some Pernod, 1 tablespoon of Pernod, and put it into the plate where the salmon is. That takes care of it. And now we're going to season. The Pernod is soaking in there, and we'll take some salt and pepper mix. Nice salt and pepper mix. Used a sea salt. See, it's not so white, so it's not processed as much. Who knows if it really matters. Now we're not going to touch this. I like to keep my hands free from the fish from the beginning to the end. Now we know the Pernod's on there, and a little more salt on this side. So the seasoning of the fish is done. Next I'm going to beat up the eggs, and then we're going to bread it. This panko breading, when you saute it, makes it ever so crispy. I'm just going to do 1 piece. You don't have to waste your time watching me do all of them. So in the flour, shake it off into the egg, and then into the breadcrumbs. Now, since this has egg on it already, we're going to leave this here and take the fork, which is clean. Otherwise, you're going to have breadcrumbs all over that tool, and it'll just mess things up a little bit. Press down, make sure it's nicely coated, as it is. And there you have your first piece. And the egg, the mustard in the egg helps, makes the egg a little bit thicker. It helps the crust to, especially the red onion, to stick onto the salmon. So there you have it, all ready to be sauteed. So while you were breading the fish, you would slowly be heating up the oil and butter mix, or whatever mixture you want. And try to use a pan that's just going to hold it, not too big, and of course not too small, which I think I chose the perfect size. and still not touching the fish with your hands. You can, but the chances of the breading coming off are greater. There you go. Now I'm going to waste your time. Whatever time it is that I put that in there, and this is a moderate flame, this video is going to keep running until the fish is finished. Salmon's a great fish to use. Very popular. Too bad we don't know where some of it comes from. But you know what? That's life. And if you enjoy these videos that I make, the easiest way to view them is not to go to YouTube, because you can't search on YouTube for my videos. You don't know which is which. You go to my website, chefrobertcorey.com, and everything is categorized to make it easy. And then of course, you know, it's linked back to YouTube. But there you can search. Lots of cooking tips on there also. Everything is free. This is going to be crispy. The only thing you don't want to do is to overcook the fish. It seems like there's a lot of oil and butter in there. There's quite a bit. And after you turn it over, you see how much is absorbed. As long as you see those bubbles frying. You could bake this in the oven. All you have to do is take a little Pam spray and spray the pan that they're going in, and then spray the top of the fish. Put it up at about 450 convection, and you'll see how fast it browns, and it will take less time in the oven than it will here, because the heat is all around, especially in the convection oven. Here we're just cooking from the bottom up, and then we have to turn it over and finish cooking it. I'm serving this later with a rice that I made. That's about the best thing to use when you're eating a piece of fish like this, is rice. But hey, individual choices. If you want boiled potatoes with it, that's just fine. Pasta, anything, whatever you like. And a little green salad or a healthy vegetable. Now I can smell this now at this point. I'm going to look and see. Usually you can tell when it's time to turn things is the edges brown a little. Now I can smell just about there. I smell the Dijon mustard cooking, and I get a little scent of the Pernod. You don't have to put the Pernod, but I like to make things a little different. It all should taste good. I like my idea of putting the onions into the breadcrumbs. You could saute the onions and serve it separate, but like what I try to do is simplify the whole thing. And now I think we're ready to turn. You know what you do when there's a lot of oil, tilt it away from you. See, there's no oil in the spot that I'm flipping it. And that goes for every piece. Nice golden brown. Because if you've done this before and you've gotten splattered, you go, oh, why did I do that? you touch, you see, feel how crunchy that is right now. And this happens to be a good, perfect flame for what I'm doing. You get to catch that flame that's getting to high, but not that high. Even though this is a good skillet, it has a thick bottom, it's supposed to evenly distribute the heat. As you could tell, a couple of pieces are a little bit browner than others, and they were all in there at the same time. But that's how it is with the flame. You have to have it exactly over the flame. So you have here 12 to 13 ounces of fish. They're about 2 ounces a piece. So you have 6 ounces. If you're serving this to some, if a woman is making this for a light lunch and she's inviting a couple of ladies over, 2 pieces is sufficient. But like for me and my wife tonight, 2 pieces is not enough. We're going to have 3 pieces each, which is only 6 ounces of fish. But always when you add breading to it, it just seems so much larger. If you were to just broil the pieces of salmon, they'd look very small. And as always, you know, when I use something like this, Pernod wine, whatever, I wind up taking a sip, put it in the cap, and just take a shot. Just to make sure that the Pernod is still fresh. Never goes bad anyway. At least there's Rockefeller. That's where the Pernod is used, and it really does a great job. Now I'm going to push on the fish a little bit. And I'm taking it out. You could cook this and serve it, or like what I'm doing tonight, cooking it. Let's see how the color is on that side. Beautiful. I'm going to turn the oven on about 350 later, because you can't put this in the microwave, because you want the breading to be crispy and stay that way. So you'll turn the oven on about 350 and just heat it. It only takes a couple of minutes. So there you go. A nice big plate of what I call panko encrusted salmon with red onions and Pernod. It looks great, and it should taste great. Thank you for coming again, and I hope you enjoy.